podcast talk show.
Good evening, Shasta County and surrounding communities. This is Myra Monarch with Tvfurstar. And today I am so happy that my friend Dana Heron is with us.
Hi, Myra.
Welcome, Dana. I'm so happy that you're here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's an honor. So, Dana and I have been talking about different topics relating to the community, and she's just such a spark full of I feel like she has a lot of information in respect to different items here in Shasta County. And I thought it was interesting because I've been in this area for since 2015. She's been here for a lot longer. And I said, I've ran into a lot of people who are not as informed. And I think a lot of people would want to know more of this and maybe even get involved with us. And this is kind of how this idea unfolded about doing something together.
Yeah, I love that. The idea came so organically. I mean, I've lived here in this area for 22 years. I love Shasta County, and a lot goes on, and sometimes it feels like the only time that we as voters get information that we need to know what's going on in our community is if you have the time to attend a city council meeting, or if you can make it to a county supervisors meeting. And especially here in this election season, it's more information is coming out about what candidates we have choices to make for offices and what offices are coming open. And I feel like every 2 to 4 years we get information, but almost nothing in between. And yes, here it's election cycle, but I thought, now is the perfect time to get on that boat and start letting people know what offices have openings that we're going to be voting for and who are the candidates, and try to just really glean through some of that information, make us all more informed voters. Because too often we just put our heads down and do our zombie life, and we look up and 2 years later we're going, wait, why is food 40% more expensive now? And why did I not like that thing they did at my school board? And, if we were paying more attention when we need to be, and not just on election cycles, we may have a lot more say in how our lives go.
So true. One of the items we discussed actually is that a lot of people don't even get involved until it's actual election day.
That's true.
To make a decision. And I've heard a lot of people say that they will actually vote according to their party preference, not even taking into consideration who they are actually voting for. And one of the things we're trying to do here at Tvfurstar is to get to know these prospective legislatures, the aspiring legislatures, on a more personal level. And also, of course, we're learning about the platform and what they stand for. But we want to cover more than just the segments that we have with them here. And just as individuals, sharing thoughts and opinions, and hoping that the audience can also get engage with us and get involved. We want to hear your feedback.
Yes, definitely. We would love to have feedback because, a show where we tell you about information doesn't mean anything unless we're giving you information that you want or that you ask for. So we hope you will comment, share this with your friends, give us a like or whatever. And, but mostly comment. Let us know what you would like to know. You can only be an informed voter if you get the information that you need. And I think that is sort of the goal of what we've been discussing is, hey, let's become informed voters. I don't want to get my ballot on voting day and reach my hand in the mailbox and find whatever the flyers are and put my name or, put my vote next to the guy with the D or the guy with the R, just because that's how I registered. So let's get a little more serious this year and figure this stuff out ahead of time.
I think that's great. And something I should note is that I'm so excited because I became a naturalized citizen just back in 2020. So I love to hear someone so passionate about politics like Dana. She's been here. Obviously, she's a a natural born citizen.
Yeah.
And just the contrast of how we are citizens and how we might view things may not always be the same, but we actually find that we have a lot more in common,
Right.
most things in common in respect to the political arena. And I just want to share that with you. So,
Yeah. And I think that's amazing that you went through that process. And, I congratulate anybody who goes through that process. It's a tough one, I've been told.
it was only 30 years in the making,
Oh
but
my goodness.
so
Yeah.
glad it's done. And so honored. And I just absolutely love this country and this land. For me, this is my home. I want the best for this country. And I know that a lot of people like myself who are naturalized feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first thoughts that came to mind when I finally got my citizenship was I want to give back
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like this country has given me so much, and it's just an obligation. And I want to model that also for my children.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, anything positive that we can model for our children, especially, getting involved and supporting where we are and the environment that we all have to live in. The environment being where you find yourself in this great big country. And here in Shasta County, we have a unique little pocket of this rural area that's trying to grow up and become a bigger town. I haven't always lived in Shasta County. I'm older than I look. I used to live in the Bay Area, and that is a very different culture than we have here. This is a little more laid back, and I've also lived in Southern California too. So I just love Shasta County, and we take so many things for granted. We take it for granted that. Um, the grocery stores will always be open. The schools will always run themselves, and that our government will always know what to do, but they don't. And no one always knows what to do. And I think, when we pay attention and um, think through who do we want our local representatives to be, and I admit, just because I was born in California. I was born in the Bay Area. We all have a habit of just slugging along through life and not paying attention. So, yeah, I'm just glad to be able to do this with you and talk about some local issues, some local candidates, and see how we can help all of us. Help all of us care about our area together.
That's wonderful. And we do get to a point where we get busy with life, especially in this modern era where women especially have to handle so many tasks like the home, the children, working in addition to that, and then trying to do something. In this case, I feel like this specific segment that we're doing, and I expect it to be repetitive and grow.
Yeah,
Um, it's just a way of giving back, in my opinion.
yeah,
I find it to be a very meaningful cause, and I'm so honored that you're doing this with me. Thank you, Dana.
awesome. Glad to be here. So I thought maybe we could just start by talking about what offices are coming up for a vote this year. I should say this November. And there's actually quite a lot going on in our community. Um, in November, we have, let's start with Reading. Just here in Reading, we have 2 open seats in the city council. And the qualified candidates so far are Paul Danuka, Ian Hill, and Michael Latow. And I think we might actually touch on talking a little bit about Dr. Danuka and Michael Latow. I did not prepare to talk about Mr. Ian Hill today, but we can touch on the other candidates a little bit and prepare something for next time. So 2 seats open on the Reading City Council that we're going to be voting for. There's also 1 seat open. Ooh, I mixed that up. I'm sorry. There's a Reading City Council 2-year term open, and that's one seat. What is this one? How did
I think there's a 4-year term and then a 2-year term.
Okay, that's what it was. So the names I read first, I believe, were for the longer 4-year term, because when I scroll up and see that the Reading City Council 2-year, it says there's one seat open. And we have Anthony Spangler, Aaron Resner, and Mark Mazzano running for that seat, and you vote for one. So, like I said, a lot going on, and see, we're learning together.
These complexities, isn't she awesome?
All right, and if you live in the Anderson area, looks like we have 4 candidates, and you're going to be voting for 3 of them. There's 3 open seats on the Anderson City Council. That's amazing. So the qualified candidates are Stan Newts. I hope I'm saying that right. Stan Newts, Neutze. Darren Hale, Bonnie Simmons, and Susie Baugh. Interesting. Okay. So let's see. What other races do we have going on right now? Oh, there is. They're going to be voting for Reading City Treasurer also. There's only one qualified candidate so far, and you're voting for one. And it's a person named Gregory S. Robinette. All right. So it's fun. Don't you ever find it funny when there's only one position open, and then sometimes we only get choice of one candidate? How do you feel about that when there's choice of one?
I was going to ask you that question. How does that work? I mean, you just choose not to vote for this person because they're still going to get that position.
Right. So the way that works in my what I have understood in the past, when there's only one candidate, basically they still have to get a majority of the vote. So if, let's say, no one voted, and maybe they even forgot to vote for themselves, I have no idea what would happen in that scenario, but it sounds like they wouldn't win, right? So let's say you had 2 votes. What if you had only 2 people cast a vote for that, and one of them wrote in a candidate that wasn't qualified, and one voted for the one qualified candidate? He would win by 1 vote.
Huh.
Yeah. So interestingly, a lot of people go, oh, there's only one candidate. I don't have any choices, so I'm not going to choose. Honestly, it takes 1 vote to get them in.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of, it's almost the easy way to get into public service and city government when you're the only candidate. It feels like cheating almost, but it's not cheating. You're the only candidate.
Yeah, we don't mean it like that. This is the way the system works.
It feels like a shortcut. We'll call it a shortcut.
Yeah.
But especially in a role like Reading City Treasurer, that's really not political. And so these people do have to be vetted to be qualified. Now, I'm not saying that the qualifications are really high for, say, general city council members, but see, now I'm actually going to tell you that I'm assuming there are more qualifications for the treasurer to be a treasurer. I'm sure you have to be an accountant or trained in some way to even qualify to run for that position. So, I'm probably going to fact check myself about that later and get back to us on that. But I'm sure there's qualifications over and above when it's something that's not necessarily political, but more about what you can bring to the table and help the city with.
That makes sense. Yes.
Okay, thanks. So then we have Shasta Lake. For those of you who live in Shasta Lake, they are having a council vacancies that we're going to be voting for. And you're going to vote for 3. And they have quite a few candidates listed here. It looks like there are 6 total.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'll read the names. Daniel Ringwelski, Dolores Lucero, Tina Elson Bays. I am so sorry, guys, if I'm saying these names wrong, and hopefully you'll hear them all in the media again. And
Welcome to my world.
Right?
Every day from me.
Let's see. So after Tina, we have Tony M. Coates, Greg Watkins, and Janice D. Powell. So that makes 6 total candidates, and you guys are going to vote for 3 of them. So that's interesting because half of those people will win. Seems like you have a lot of candidates, but half of them will win.
That is so true. Huh.
It's actually, I mean, other than, to get your name recognition out there, it feels like you probably have to spend a lot of money. But when you start looking at the brass tacks, they're voting for 3 and half of them will win. I just find those little nuances interesting.
Yeah.
And I will say, too, even though we're reading off all these names and these different positions that are open around the county, obviously you're not we who live in Reading, because you and I both live in Reading, we will not be voting for Shasta Lakes City Council, obviously, and people in Anderson won't be voting for Reading's City Council. So don't get too overwhelmed thinking that all of these names are going to be on the ballot. Just listen for your area, pay attention when we're talking about your area, because that's what's going to be important to you.
Thank you for making that distinction. I've ran into people who say, well, I'm voting for this person in the city council and they happen to live in the county. So that's also worth noting. You have to, for this Reading City Council, you have to live within the city limits
to vote for a city council
Yes.
member. Okay, yeah. And then that's interesting too, because if you think, okay, well, I live in Shasta County and there's a county seat open, but in fact, we're going to get there here in a minute because obviously the county is separated up into districts. And I think I want to say District 3 is the county seat that's open. I might be wrong. I'm trying to find it on this list. You will not believe how long this list is.
So where are you getting this information from, Dana?
Oh, great question. I'm getting this information from the Shasta County Elections Department website. It is elections.shastacounty.gov, G-O-V, elections.shastacounty.gov. And there's some great tabs on here. I'm looking at one on the front page called Voting Information. And you can find your polling place, by the way, ballot box information. There's another tab called Election Resources that I think is really great for the general public, because there's places on here to find information about current press releases. You can register to vote or find information about registering to vote. There's a lot of great information on here, and that's where I found the list that I've been talking with you about today, the candidates list and the qualified candidates list, because there was a cutoff actually August 9th, Friday. There was a cutoff list for becoming a qualified candidate.
So any potential candidate had to submit, I'm assuming, an application or something to that effect in order to. Interesting.
Yeah. And prove themselves to be qualified. Let's see. County offices. I was correct. It's the county office up for vote is Board of Supervisors District 3. So only those who live in District 3. Don't ask me where that is exactly. It's a complicated map.
We'll get that in a future segment.
Yeah, maybe we can get a graphic of that and share it and talk about it.
Yeah. So
District 3 is the Board of Supervisors district that's going to be up for re-election. And sometimes we all come into town from the different cities or from the different areas of the city that you live in, and I always found it confusing when getting close to election time, and I just happen to live in District 2. I know what district I live in, so I live in District 2, but I would see signage for the other districts and for the candidates from those other districts. So I'm not sure. Now, this would be interesting for us to find out. I am not sure if let's say a candidate from District 3, if they are allowed to put signs up in District 2 or District 1, or if they are allowed to put signs up in District 1 or District 2. I am not sure if they, let's say a candidate from District 3, if they are allowed to put signs up in District 2 or District 1, or if they are allowed to put signs up in District 2 or District 1, or if they are allowed to put signs up in District 2 or District 1, or if they are allowed to put signs up in District 2 or District 1, or if they are allowed to put signs up in District 2 or District 1, or if they are allowed to put signs up in District 2 or District 1, or if they are allowed to put signs up in District 2 or District 1, or if they are allowed to put signs up in District 2 or District 1, or if they are allowed to put signs up in District 2 or District 1, or if they are allowed to put signs up in District 2 or District 1, or if they are allowed to put signs or District 4, or if it's just that they leave the public sphere spaces open and available for all of them to share. Like, there's only one Winco in town. If you're going to the Winco in Reading, would that be only a space where that district, that candidate that's running for that district, can put a sign?
That's such a great question.
That would seem kind of unfair. And like, what if you only shop at Holiday Market and you only shop at the Holiday Market on Hartnell? So I would like to learn more about myself, because I find it confusing as I'm going around town and you're seeing everybody's signs, and then as you get further out in the districts, like into the neighborhoods and stuff, you see less of them, because obviously they're going to target their advertising to their district. So you're going to see less and less, and you kind of finally figure out what district you might be in. But I always thought that was an interesting concept. So whatever district Winco is in, is that off limits to the other candidates? I want to know.
Let's figure this out. These
Yeah.
are some of the complexities that I myself, I've been trying to understand. And I thought, well, maybe it's got to do with the fact that I wasn't born in this country. Yes, I prepared for the citizenship and I passed the exam and all this history that I studied for and stuff I'm familiar with. But what is all this? And it turns out that it has nothing to do with me being a citizen by choice, because a lot of people my age who were born here don't even understand these concepts.
It's true.
A lot of them.
It's true. It is very complex. I've never lived in another country, so I have no clue how other countries run things. I know there are some similarities, because a lot of what we do in the United States was brought over from Britain at the time. A lot of our government, the structures and the way they do things was brought over. We have a lot of the older British law that we based a lot of our stuff on. I'm not a lawyer. I just, you learn things as you go through school and stuff. But so, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's some similarities, but it's very confusing. It's very confusing. And I don't know that anywhere else is more simple.
Well, we're going to try to simplify it for people who feel like us. I mean, I'm so thankful that you've actually done some research to try to clarify some of these items.
Thank you. So I did pull up a map of the supervisor districts and precinct boundaries. So they're called precincts. Well, it looks like there's a big chunk of downtown between downtown and the 5 freeway, and then going towards the north of there is District 1. So we were talking about Winco. So let me see. I believe Winco is that is District, what is this? 4. Interesting. And then District 2, they kind of try to draw these lines so that you're not just getting one neighborhood, or, not one affluent area, but miss the less affluent area, where they try to make it so that you have a multiple array of people, demographics, things like that. So that's why the lines on districts are so crazy looking, because they're trying to share the different demographics of people.
And I wonder how that gets determined, what area will pertain to which specific district, and if that can be modified. I've heard that it can, but I can't say that for sure.
It does. There's a link here, and of course you guys can't see my computer, so I'll just tell you, there's a link here for a historical 2011 Shasta County Supervisor District map. So that was 13 years ago. So I don't know the frequency that they do it. Maybe it's an as-needed basis. I think it's an as-needed basis, or maybe they vote on it.
See? That could be a little rabbit hole.
Right? Yes, another rabbit hole to go down. Let's see. while I'm on the county map, let's see. No, I better go back to the page and find the qualified candidates for that District 3 that we've been talking about. So I need to get back to that. So interestingly, while I'm looking for that, there are so many school districts having votes for board members. And I never thought about it. Like, you see, so I'm in the Enterprise school district, Enterprise, and I've lived mostly in that area of town for a long time. And you think, okay, yeah, the school might have something on there. When you look at the entire ballot, like that the elections people have to deal with, this is a lot for them to figure out.
I wonder if that's what part of what discourages people from even getting involved. I mean,
Yeah.
it
can. I'm sure sometimes it can seem overwhelming. So we're just gonna try to make it less overwhelming. I'm gonna have to look this up. Supervisor. You know what? I think the document that I pulled up is just for. It's not a county related issue. So let's see. Oh, I know how to find that. I got to go back to statewide, local. No. Well, I don't know. Let's run down the list of some more of these offices that are open, just so you know. So there are the school districts that have offices open are going to be Anderson, Antelope, Bella Vista, Black Butte, Union School District. A lot of these are, they'll say Antelope Union District, Bella Vista Elementary District, Black Butte Union School District, Cascade Union School District, Castle Rock Union School. I don't even know where that is.
I have no idea.
Columbia School District, Cottonwood, Dunsmuir Joint Union High School District, Enterprise Elementary School District, Fall River Joint Unified. I'm going to stop saying the word school district. I'll just read the parts that are different. French Gulch Whiskey Town, Gateway Unified, Grant School District, Happy Valley Elementary, Igo Ono Platina Union, Junction Elementary, Millville Elementary, Mountain Union Elementary, North Cow Creek, Oak Run Elementary, Pacheco Union, Red Bluff Union, Reading School District, Shasta County Board of Education, Shasta Tehama Trinity Joint Community College, Shasta Union Elementary School District, Shasta Union High School District, Siskiyou Board of Education, Siskiyou Joint Community College District, Tehama County Board of Education, and Whitmore Union Elementary School District. That's a lot.
That is a lot, but it sounds like we're actually going over some of these positions are in Tehama County.
Yes, and
I wonder why they would be listed on the Shasta County website, though.
It may have more to do with the name, or maybe that the lines of the district, like this Red Bluff Joint Union High School District. Why is it on a page that says County of Shasta?
Mm-hmm.
Because Red Bluff is in Tehama County. It might be that they share money or responsibilities with another district. Yeah, because one of the things that is happening on these is not just voting for board members, but there are also a lot of bond issues up on this election to help rebuild the schools facilities. I was trying to read through some of them. Obviously, from the list that I read, there are so many to look through. But yeah, there's a lot of bond money going to be on our ballots. So, whatever district you're in, you're going to see probably a bond issue for your area. And bonds are when the county sells bonds and then let's see. So, like this one says, it'll be a measure authorizing this particular one for Shasta Union High School District will be $56.6 million worth of bonds at legal rates, generating average of $4.1 million annually, while the bonds are outstanding at average rates of $14.39, so $14.39 per $100,000 assessed value with annual audits, citizens oversight. So that's kind of part of how the measure will read. So $56.6 million of bonds they want authorized to be issued just for Shasta Union High School District. So, and it says, this is the important part. When you're reading measures like that, thinking about authorizing bond money for your local school in the area that you live, here it says at average rates of $14.39, so $14.39 per $100,000 of assessed value. That means if you own a house in that district, they will levy that as an extra fee on your property taxes.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how this works. People always go, oh, yes, but my school desperately needs it. Yes, your school probably does desperately need it. I want to know, where does the California lottery money go that was supposed to go to our schools that are falling down around our children? Why are they constantly coming back to the voters for money? Why? So, and when they come back to the voters, I mean, this doesn't affect the tourists. This doesn't affect renters, in that you may see a small increase in your rent because the landlord doesn't want to pay that, because maybe he has 20 houses he's renting out and he's getting hit with $14.39 per $100,000 assessed value. I mean, the
average cost of a property is what currently? $350 maybe?
$350-ish
in this area?
Somewhere in there. I mean, yeah, that's a move-in ready home is around $350 here in this area. So, $15 times 3, your landlord's getting hit with an extra $45 a year just because everyone wants their local school fixed up. So, and as we know, that always gets passed on to the lower, so you say, well, I don't even own properties. It's not going to affect me. Yeah, well.
Yeah, it gets passed down the line to the little guy.
Yep.
So it's so crucial for us to try to understand the complexities of these items.
Yeah. So I'm not saying, you have to, I don't like to use the phrase follow your heart, because if you make all your decisions with your heart, the children follow your heart. You in some senses, yes, we want our schools to be safe. We want our next generation growing up safe and smart and also making good choices. But you also have to follow your head. And is this a good deal? I mean, they do this all the time. Is $56.6 million enough money? Are they going to ask us for more money in 5 more years because they didn't get, is it too much money? How, there's always supposedly oversight for these things, but every year we watch funds be squandered, or just, have you ever seen a public works project have to be redone because the contractor messed it up? Stuff happens. When you're talking about these giant numbers, it's really easy to spend really fast.
I guess my question would be, can I afford it for as long as I live, like you said, in this house? And it could be an incremental process.
Yeah.
Every 5 years.
Exactly.
So,
And if you've ever looked at your tax bill, and you'll see not just so in this county, the tax is basically, it's 0.1% or something. So you end up paying like 1% a year.
Mhm.
If you own a $500,000 house, you're going to pay approximately $5,000 in taxes directly to the county just for the pleasure of owning your property. Or not owning it, because we all know the bank really owns it until you actually own it. But
Good point, Dana.
so now on top of that $5,000 that you owe the county just for living there, you if you've ever looked at your tax bill, you'll see things like this on it, and it'll say $11 a year for such and such bond issue that was authorized by voters in 2009. 2009, that, and you go down the list, and mosquito abatement control, blah, 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 for this, authorized in this year. And so get ready. If we vote yes for this, you'll see this on your next tax bill, and it'll say authorized in 2024.
But it may not sunset immediately. So that's the point you're trying to make.
Yeah, it doesn't sunset immediately. And I'm not seeing on here where it says how long it would take to pay the bond back. So that's the other thing. 56.6 million, that's quite a lot of money. How long will they be billing us on our taxes to pay off these bonds? I don't know. It doesn't actually say on here.
Interesting. Well, that's a lot of it's great information that you shared with us this evening.
Thank you.
I'm so thankful that you're taking the time to actually go look on the site and get the facts and try to help us from your perspective understand these items a little better. And hopefully it becomes more clear as we work more regular.
Yeah.
Yeah. And these, I'm just so thankful because these are the questions that I've had for so long, but you can take the time to call the elections office, but will you really get specifics like Dana's doing? I mean, come on, this is awesome.
Yeah, you can listen to us on your way home in the car while you're making dinner, doing laundry, and we're just going to talk about that stuff, and it doesn't even take a phone call.
And let us know what specific questions you have. What are the topics that you want discussed? We don't necessarily need to focus on politics. Like you mentioned earlier, this is the political season, but there are so many topics relating to not just the Shasta community, but the North State that pertain to us. And we want to ask those questions. Why? And definitely get the answers.
Yes. Why? How does it work? How can we help? I thank you so much for having me, Myra. This has been a lot of fun. I can't wait to get back and talk to you voters some more. And I think are we about done? We're wrapping up for the night?
We're going to wrap up for the night, but we're going to do this again next week. And we really hope that you can join us. Don't forget to like, share, comment. It'll help us continue to bring this content to you. And and we look forward to being with you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Podcast Talk Show.